answered the question, Doug. I don't know. It seems like there's this, running thing with all this study. I mean, whether it's psychic, being a psychic, or mediumistic abilities, or even like what we talked about last hour, reverse speech. There is this discipline of objectiveness that has to go through all this stuff.
Yeah.
And you've turned people away, like you said, bro.
I still to this day, I can be like bang on with a client and really impress them and have them tell me that it's been an incredible experience. And literally the next person to walk through my door, I wouldn't have to give them a refund, but for telephone readings, when I do readings at a distance, I even have a couple of refunds on the waiting list right now, because you'll sit with a person, you just won't connect with them, and it's either that you can't read them because there's something going on that you're unable to know what it is if you're a certain age or haven't had that experience in life, or you just don't get along with them person to person, and it's very difficult to communicate with them. And that's what I think needs to happen, is psychic people have to be willing to deliver the goods before payment, and if the goods are not received, not to get paid for it. And I think that's set a lot of credit to my business, and it does keep the referrals very clean and honest and good, because even people who get a refund from me will still send friends to me because they say that, well, he was honest enough.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's a great way of doing things, too, I think. And I don't know of anybody else that really... I mean, have you heard of anybody else that does things like that, Doug?
No, I've never heard of anyone who does it. Because, like you know very, very well, there's certain famous people who say that they're being paid for their time.
Well, yeah, they're being paid for their time, not
so I don't care if they sat there for 30 minutes with you and twiddled their thumbs or built a card house out of their tarot cards, right?
You're paying for their time.
You're paying for their time to be just sitting in their presence.
Yeah. See, and for me, it's more important that the impact reaches the individual than it is to have my time paid for. And I think in the long run, it makes you even more successful. I think it's very short-sighted for a person to charge someone based on the hour and not based on the content of the hour. And not everyone likes me. I've had maybe 1 in 100 people will not like me, or they'll tell their friends that the reading wasn't that great. I mean, this is what we get in a profession where you're interacting with human beings. A lot of my hairstylist friends, in fact, find the same kinds of problems I do. They could do 10 great haircuts. Then they get one person who comes in and doesn't quite know what they want done. They just know they want a haircut. And then no matter what my stylist does, the person's unsatisfied with the haircut, and then it ruins the stylist's confidence.
Well, yeah, they just don't know what they want.
That happens.
Period.
Yeah. That happens in even the most professional of industries. I mean, I was a programmer for years, a computer programmer. It sounds very scientific, right?
Mm.
Well, you get customers, they go, well, I need a report on that. And you're like, a report? Yeah, you get the information out of the database and make it a report. So, all right, so you go and you pull the information out of the database, you sum it all up and total it, and you give them a standard deviation, and you give them the report, and they go, this isn't what I need at all. Well, you said you needed a report, and you didn't tell me what exactly you needed.
Yeah.
And then they start drilling down, and instead of taking like your time one time to just do the report that they wanted, you're giving them things, and then they have to change it over and over. It's a lot like building a website.
Yep, and that's...
Which brings it basically to a good point, is that the people who have the best readings tend to be the people who are very receptive and open and are honest. I mean, if it's wrong or if it's not making sense, they would say so, but they're not coming to sort of have you tell them what their view of their life is. They're coming with the understanding that you're going to tell them what you see about their life from your perspective, or from the perspective, hopefully, of higher spirit beings who have a better perspective on life. Because the advice I give, and that comes out of me in a reading, is nothing like how I am in person. Like Andrew and I have had a chance to have dinner together and spend some time together outside of the reading and get to know each other. I'm sure he knows I'm much, much more of a goof and not really as graceful as I can be in a reading. Yeah, don't say yes, Andrew.
Ken Berg, we just spent the weekend with last weekend. I mean, he's a very disciplined and very good at what he does as a psychic. But you get him off the clock, he's hysterical. He's a goofball. He's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think that's what you need. I mean, like anything, like we approach radio here. You take your work seriously, but don't take yourself that seriously all the time, right? And I think the same thing would apply to that you can't take yourself that seriously all the time, or you just burn yourself up.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And you won't make many friends.
No, you won't. No.
Right. You might have to live with your 90-year-old sister or something, and then when you die, she just leaves you there. And 20 years later, they find your bones and take her off to a facility. Andrew, we got minutes here, and a recap on the reading experience, the search for a psychic, the reading experience, and what it's done for your life since you've had the reading.
Well, finding him again, it was total word of mouth. Not only did we share the same ex, but I also knew a couple of people that had done a reading with Bro, and they were really, really impressed with what they received from him. So I was more than willing to go there, and again, I went there with an open mind. And Bro actually had me write down a list of questions before I went there, and said, "Don't show them to me. Wait till the reading's done, and then I want you to pull out your list and check off everything I've answered." And I think there was only, out of about almost 20 questions, I think there may have been one that wasn't totally touched on, and we talked about it a bit. It had to do with my grandparents, but other than that, I was really, really impressed. There was, again, a couple things like the Florida trip and the Australia trip that I said, no, I really don't see that happening anytime soon. And Rose said, "No, just write it down in your notes, and then it'll come up later. Don't worry." And sure enough, everything came up again.
How interesting.
Very interesting. Unfortunately, we are done.
Yeah.
We're right up on the thing. It's always that way. We can sit here and talk all night long, but we have these rules we got to play by. So, geez, Pete.
Bro, what a pleasure to have you back on the show.
Thank you.
This was the third time, right?
And thank you for bringing Andrew also. It's great having you on the show too, Andrew.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yes, thanks. Fantastic. You got to carry this one out, man. I'm done. Seriously.
Well,
I'm going to push the buttons. You talk. You use your brain. I'll just click the buttons.
Well, I can definitely do that.
Okay.
For the whole Quaker Oat family of cereal.
And giving them about $20,000 in advertising.
I know. They don't even know it. I have to thank Bro Perkins. Walkthroughwalls.org/ITC/Bro Perkins. Of course, the website's linked up at Ghostlytalk7
on our site. Yep.
For coming on again, and Andrew for coming on and talking about his experience. David John Oates, reversespeech.com.
Yeah,
wow,
great talking to him again. Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
And Bonnie, thank you for
got a little crazy. Got a little crazier towards the end. Sorry about that, guys.
Yes.
Hey.
Thanks for putting up with us on the phone, Bonnie, and Amber. Amber, thanks for sitting in. Everybody who's listening, thank you so much for listening, and keep listening, because we're here on the air for you, and to learn, and as we learn, you learn. It's a great win-win situation there.
Yeah, it is.
We'll be back, of course, next week with more Ghostly Talk, but I didn't even look at the schedule because I've been so
I don't even
haphazard lately
anymore.
But
I'm gonna. Yeah, okay.
But we are in next week, and then the week after, and then of course December is going to be a little bit different.
Yeah,
just keep that in mind.
Look at the schedule. Yeah.
Right, we're still going to bring you new material even through December.
Oh, yeah.
Our website is www.ghostlytalk.com, and that's been our show for this week. I have been Doug.
I have been Scott L.
Still back.
Bonnie and Amber are both competing for airtime.
All right, we're out of here, guys. Have a great week.
We'll talk to you next week. Thank you.
Ghostly Talk! You have been listening to Ghostly Talk Paranormal Talk Radio. The Ghostly Talk audio program is distributed for free under the Open Content License. Please share with all your friends and support independent media.